Good morning. Here is yet another faceless video, but hopefully this one will be very informative. I've actually had quite a few friends asking about our new digital portfolio. I know 2 years ago or so, maybe 3, I had posted a video about our portfolio system, and we used, the good old big, huge binders, right, with the tabs and all the millions of papers to store tests and worksheets and curriculum lists and agendas and whatever. Those work great. I know a lot of people are, pen and paper people, but I think with having limited space in my house times 3 kids, it started to really accumulate, and I just started to feel a little cluttered. And I feel like with this new system, digital, as much as I hate to rely on technology, it really has simplified my life because it's convenient, right? So if I'm out doing something and I consider that experience to be part of the kids' education, be it a field trip or a volunteer project or, a sporting event or whatever, and I want to really, document that as part of their education and put it in their portfolio, I have my phone to take a picture. It syncs everything from my phone to my iPad and then to my computer, and it all syncs in the OneNote app. So I'm just going to kind of go through and show you guys how I've used OneNote, which you can see it's just this little purple square OneNote, and it's available in the App Store. I want to say it's free. Once you create your account, you can actually sync your OneNote app to your computer, to your phone, to your iPad, all based on your login, okay? So I'm going to start, I guess, just with generally a home page, right? So you open up the OneNote app. Yours would look blank, right? Because basically, essentially what you're doing is you are creating a notebook. So that binder that I showed you, you have to picture that as like all of that thrown onto a computer screen, right? So you're going to have your tabs you can create, and in each tab you'll have pages. So identical to the notebook system, but it's all going to be on a screen. So take, for instance, Hartley, right? So this could have been a year that we did, might have been her 9th grade year. The way to create your notebook is the plus notebook. When you hit that plus notebook, you're going to notice that you can save it to your OneDrive personal. That is a great option because it does help to sync all of your devices. I recall my husband helping me a little with this because I'm not super techie, but hopefully with a little bit of playing around, you'll be able to figure it out. But I know the OneDrive personal was a really good way for me to sync everything. So basically through creating your notebook, you'll title your notebook, right? So if I were to make one for Hartley, and then you can kind of change the color, color code them for each of your kids, which I'm not going to save that. So I don't want to add more clutter to my already tons of notebooks here, but just to give you an idea. So let's say that I created the notebook and it's blank, right? So you're not going to see any of this stuff. So I would hit plus section, and that's going to add a new tab, right? So you could have a tab for your curriculum lists. I always keep, in my curriculum list, I keep a copy of the kids' evaluation from the previous year, like the submission to the county. That way I have it saved in here. So I know as I'm working towards my school year, I kind of know what date I have to go by as my year date to turn in my next evaluation, but I'm not going to show you that page because it's got my kids, ID numbers and stuff on it. So anyways, back to our tab, right? So we've created our notebook, we've created our tab. I'm going to delete this one because that's just the blank I created to show you. So here's my tab. Okay, so I called it curriculum, and I want to say it's curriculum and evaluation form, right? So here's the page. You can see my page. It's just set up just like any Word document, and I've basically created a list of my curriculum. Now, page 2 is our evaluation forms, which I'm not going to show you because it has the kids' ID and information on them. But you can see you can have multiple pages within each tab. I'll show you another one. Maybe we'll go with science, right? So here's a page. It just had kind of like a copy from the table of contents or the description of the course, and I saved it in there. Here's another page that shows her notebook samples from the course that she took, right? So she did some notebooking. I think these were from maybe labs, excuse me. And then I have another page that basically shows the labs that we did, some of the projects that she worked on, and all of these are just pictures, right? So I just took a picture of a poster board, a picture of her doing surgery on a chicken's foot. Wow, that's gross. We went to SeaWorld one time, some hikes that we did, and then some, I don't remember what this was, some kind of like food web, I think. And just, some graphing stuff that she did and a plot of our property. So you could see, I mean, I'm not saving a whole lot. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pictures for the whole school year, right? And I think even that's a little excessive. Your evaluator is probably just going to be looking for something from the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year to show progression. Now, I know for math, our first page for our math tab just kind of shows the pre-algebra course description. I put her grade in here, and then for another page, I just basically took screenshots and pictures of the scores that she got on her online program. And as you can see, I only have like 4, 5, 6 different reports here, right? So it basically shows a report from the beginning of the year, a report from towards the holidays. Here's a report after the holidays, and then in the springtime, and then at the end of the year, right? So here's our final report. So you get the idea. Each of my kids have these. So this would be, one for Hartley, one for Ryder, one for Wes. And that was, I want to say 2 years ago. This is our current year, and this is our upcoming year. So you can see it's kind of helped me to get organized in a sense that, yes, Weston's 5th grade year hasn't started yet, but as I come to different curriculum to put into the portfolio, and maybe something a friend showed me or something I want to try out next year, or a goal that I feel he hasn't met yet this year and I want to make sure that I hit that next year, I'm going and just adding it into this blank notebook for next year. So that way, when we go to start next year, it's already saved in here, right? This can start to get a little cluttered, but it gives you the option of actually closing out notebooks if you want to. It does not delete them. So if you don't like the visual clutter of having multiple notebooks, you can actually close them out and they will save. I do color coding for each of my kids. Like I give each of the kids a color. That way I kind of can organize that in my own brain, but some people don't work that way. Another cool thing I thought I would show you is that you can actually, so let's just take, here's a random notebook from Hartley. Okay. So let's say I wanted to share it with our evaluator, with, maybe dad or grandma or whoever. You can actually invite people to the notebook by typing in their email address and then adding in a message. So you can send them an actual digital notebook. You can copy a link of the notebook, or you can just send copies of pages. A lot of people ask if you have the ability to print all this up, and the answer is yes. And I'm actually going to show you on my computer, because I will say using the computer to print your digital notebooks is a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera really quick to kind of point toward our computer screen and show you how easy that is. Okay, so same thing, like you just pull up your, I'm going to close this so it's not in the way. Pull up your OneNote app, and let me pull it up. I don't even know. All right, here it is, OneNote app. Okay. So I'm going to open the same app, and you can see, here's all of my my notebooks right here, right? So let's go to this 9th grade one. Okay, so here's the notebook. All right. This is the same thing that you just saw on the screen of my iPad, and it's the same thing that I would see on the screen of my phone if I were to open this app. right? So, oh, actually I clicked on writers. Oops, that's okay. But so I'm going to give you an idea, like here's our tabs. This is what it looks like on the computer screen. So here's writer 7th grade. You can click here, right? You see all those lists of notebooks that we just saw, right? Hartley's 9th grade, his 7th grade. So, you know, these are kind of set up a little differently. I don't know why they're out of order, but you see the tabs here. You know, you got your curriculum book list. We have our English tab. Over here to this far right, these are our pages. So you can see it's set up a little differently than on the iPad, but the system is still the same. You have tab and you have pages, right? Pages. So it's the same setup, just it's kind of spread out a little differently on the computer. But I'll show you here. So let's say if we wanted to take his notebook, file, print, and let's see, I'll do a print preview. Okay, so you can see like here's a page of his, actually I think I just selected the page instead of the whole thing, but I could actually print these notebook pages up to staple together and just put as a little packet of pages from the notebook. So you can see, so there's one page. For English, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. For math, I would have 1, 2, 3 pages. For social studies, it looks like I would only have 2, maybe 3, since the pictures are a little longer. For science, it looks like I would have 3. Electives, I would have 3, and then the weekly log, I just looks like I would have 1. For the most part, these pictures do all squish onto one page, and they do look kind of small. But there is a way to kind of play with the size of them, if you wanted them printed out bigger. But as you see, like, so let's just take these tabs in general. Each of them had 2 to 3 pages. So we're talking like, you know, maybe 12 to 15 pages of paper stapled together and handed to your evaluator if you prefer to do it the, you know, the paper way. But we're talking 15 pages as opposed to this giant behemoth thing that I used to use. Well, this is the biology folder, but these are similar to the folders I used to use for my kids. And then I'd have to save all the pages and hole punch them and buy tabs every year and, you know, put all the sheets in sheet protectors. This saves it all for you on your computer, right? So there is a way to save it on a thumb drive if you wanted to actually have it and tuck it away somewhere. But I just really like this because I'm able to take all these pictures. Like here was a PE class my boys took. I was just taking pictures of the different things that they did, right? So here was like some baseball stuff that we did, practice, him at a game, you know, just stuff that I was able to document that I wouldn't have done had we been still using that method with the paper, right? So like printing up pages of pictures and field trips and this, it really got redundant. And so this OneNote system has really, really helped to simplify things for me and help me to keep things organized. And it also helps me to get ahead for the following year because, like I said, I am able to take those thoughts that come to my mind or those conversations that I have with fellow homeschoolers that recommend maybe a field trip or a curriculum or a book to read. I can just go in, click on my phone, you know, whatever grade is upcoming that I've already created those blank notebooks for, and just put some notes in there as I'm going through the previous school year in preparation for the next school year. Just those things that, you know, you tend to like forget if you don't write down, but you just pull your phone out and just do it right there. So this is how I use the OneNote system, and I hope that this is helpful for you as you get ready for your upcoming school year. I would honestly recommend doing this at the beginning of the school year rather than in the middle of the school year, because it's going to simplify things and you can start fresh at the beginning of the year. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if it was.